Hello out there, Foxes fans, and welcome back to another edition of the U.S. Foxes podcast, coming to you guys as always from various parts of the United States. After a short little international break there, we're coming back finally. Missed you guys. I, as always, am your host, Matt Folks, joined by my three wonderful co-hosts. Starting up in Del Mar, Mr. Chris Warner. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Matt? Looking for 24 hours to go, buddy. 24 hours to go.
Dude, I literally, it's been everything combined. It would have been nerve-wracking if we had started out to like a perfect start to the season, let alone where we are in position. But we'll dive into that. Joining us from New York, as always, from the New York Foxes, Mr. Jason Becker. How are things over there, my friend?
All right. Happy October, all of y'all. Happy autumn for the folks in the UK, and hope everyone in New York is having a good, and across the states having a good start to fall, because leaves fall down. That's why we have to call it that.
Exactly right. Very literal here in the States. You guys getting some fall colors over there? That's one of the things I miss most about the Midwest, not gonna lie, is this time of year.
Yeah, when you start to get out to the suburbs and get upstate, you're starting to see the leaves turn just a little bit there. So yeah, it looks nice.
Awesome. I'm hoping Philly's going to be in full effect here in a couple of weeks when we all are getting there. Down in Texas, joining us today, as always, Jim Harris. How are you, my friend, on this fine Sunday?
I'm doing very well. It's cooling off, and it's spooky month. I think I have to say that right.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, as far as Leicester goes, it's been as spooky as it can get. So
spooky season. Yeah, that's the phrase. I think Brendan's taking it too literally.
Yeah, he's already putting on his Halloween outfits. Boys, it's been quite the little break. As we said, we miss you guys. And not going to lie, I was hoping we would have been able to come in with an episode last week to talk about a new manager. But here we are 2 weeks later, and we still have Brendan Rodgers in charge. Jason, surprise level on a 1 to 10 scale. Where are you right now that we still have Mr. Rodgers?
I don't know. I think I'm just like ambivalent at this point. I just have to say that I don't know about you guys, but I had a wonderful international break. I didn't watch a minute of any kind of football. I barely really read up on rumors or anything like that. I just really enjoyed the break. I just went on a break, and it felt good. But now I'm ready for the football to start, and glad it's a well, Forrest will tell you it's not a derby, but glad it's a East Midlands matchup here to kind of just get us a little bit more motivated for the game. But as far as the status of the manager, I think we're all, I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of accepted that still just gonna drag on maybe for a little while longer, and then we'll just have to see.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it makes you wonder, Jim, like if we're getting the full story on everything. I mean, obviously we're not, and we never would without being in the rooms with Susan and these difficult decisions. We will never get the full story. But man, you got to wonder, like, if everything in the world is calling for the guy to be sacked and he's still here, can you really wonder if we're getting the full story with the financial? I know the 10 million's been floated out, but you got to figure, man, if it was 10 million, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the payout is a large number from what we all hear. I think he must also have a lot of credit in the bank from previous seasons too. Whether he's in overdraft mode now, I'm not sure. But tomorrow is going to be huge for everybody, I think. Not only the fans, but I think, this is one of those games where it's, we think it's going to be is he going to have a job on Tuesday? But didn't we say that after last week, the last match, and we all woke up early on the Monday morning expecting to hear something we didn't like, Jason. It's been nice not to have to think about football for the last 10 days or so, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I kind of in the same boat as Jason was in. I didn't really pay attention. I was football. NFL's going on right now. San Diego Loyal just clinched playoff spot. Padres just clinched playoff spot. There's been a lot of places to focus my attention other than the shit going on at Seagrave. Chris, your opinion on the fact that we still have the Northern Irishman at the helm?
Yeah, I think to echo the boys' points, the fact that we didn't hear anything on that Monday kind of was just, I think, resigned all to the fact that no change was going to happen. It was interesting.
Everyone was convinced that it was because of the clue.
Yeah, I think everyone had convinced themselves that it was going to happen on that Monday, and then when there was no picture of the corner flag, it was like, okay, we go again. It was interesting, some of the comments, and I mean, we'll talk about this more as well. Like the fact that he says that there's been zero contact between himself and Top and Susan. I don't believe that for a single second. I'm not even sure why he needs to say that, but it is a defining moment of our season tomorrow. I really do feel like, I know the chairman's in town. This is his first game apparently in a while that he's flown in especially for. So yeah, it's a huge game tomorrow, Matt. Huge game.
It's crazy, man. Before we jump into the match, though, we will kind of do just a quick summary, looking around at what our boys did on the international break. Checking out the Nigerian team. Wilf took a knock in the first match where he featured for them, but apparently it wasn't as bad as they thought. They got him off the field right away, which was good because apparently he's fine and is going to be active for tomorrow, apparently. So that's good to see. Nacho also got an opportunity to play for them, so that was good to see him get some time. Cags featured for Turkey. He even wore the captain's armband. I saw, Jason. Your thoughts on Cags actually having a leadership role at a different club?
We've got to figure out what's going on with him. It's just been such a waste of talent that we know is there. And it seems like it's another one of those players that kind of gets frozen out. You know, throw him in the same pile as Dennis Pratt and others, and it seems like there's really not much they can do to get back into the manager's good graces, and it's disappointing. I mean, obviously, Cags wasn't an outstanding performer for some time, but we know it's in there, right? We saw what we got from him a couple of years ago. He's still young, so there still is a player in there, but for whatever reason, we just, refuse to use him. And I don't know. I just feel sad to me, and it feels kind of pointless. And I'm not sure what he is doing at the club on the last year of his contract. When, maybe if this is the way we were going to, the road we were going to go down with him, why aren't we trying to at least move him on, send him somewhere where he can play, get a little bit of money, in our financial situation? But it's almost like, well, we're kind of we know what the expenses are. Got to keep these players in the lineup, fill the squad places, even if they're not going to get a run out on the pitch. And it's just, I don't know. It's a little discouraging to see, partly baffling, but good for him that he was able to get out there and play and captain his country. And he said all the right things in an interview earlier this year, saying that he was happy at Leicester. He respects the manager, wants to get out and play, wants to get his spot back, and then we're just nothing.
It's weird, too, because I feel like him wearing the captain's armband really caught me off guard, because you almost wonder if that's the manager of Turkey being kind of a middle finger up to Brendan, you don't even know what you've got here, and you are kind of screwing yourself over. Now, if you did check any of his highlights from Turkey, he did not look that great. So maybe he could have done more with the opportunity that his national team manager was trying to give him. But frankly, I don't know. It's such a weird thing. I don't know if he's pissed Brendan off, with his lack. We've heard him talk about Cags' attitude or lack of try and training or whatever excuse, but something is not right there when a captain for an international squad can't even get in the side, Chris. Do you have any thoughts on this?
So the Cags one is really interesting. Speaking of decisions, it was interesting as well. Danny Ward didn't start for Wales. He was on the bench for both of those two games as well, which again, just is that, to your point, Matt, just that almost like it's like the national manager's like, okay, I'm just going to look at form here and pick my best 11 based on form, and it'll be interesting. Like, it's given that decision by him, what we do around Ward on tomorrow. But yeah, the Cags one, I think. Look, I think Cags is an established player for Turkey. He's been to a couple of major tournaments with them. So in terms of often in these friendlies, the captaincy is often given to those sort, like there's a pecking order, a list. And so I'm not too surprised by it. But yeah, I mean, he's always going to struggle when he doesn't have the games to be able to get his foot through the door and get some experience playing on the pitch. And we've talked about this on previous podcasts where we have an 11 and the other lads don't get in. He's always going to bound to be rough. And just to your point, Matt, yeah, he didn't look super great for Turkey in these past 2 games.
Moving on from him, our new boy, Wild Fast, Yuri and Castagnier all got into the Belgian side. Foxes, I don't know. We need to learn how to say foxes in Belgian. Like, I know it's the German. Is it Fuchses, right? Is that pretty much it?
Fuchs would be fox, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Belgian foxes.
Well,
Yeah,
but I guess there really isn't a Belgian language, right? You have to do
right.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
Flemish
They
or
have a
French.
dialect, though, is what I'm getting at. But anyway, the Belgian foxes all they look decent. Yuri did his thing, bossing around De Bruyne, which always cracks me up.
To be fair, I did teach everyone how to say autumn in American, so maybe there is a Belgian language, Belgian slang.
the fall, yeah, for sure. As Chris mentioned, Danny Ward was in the team for, and you said he didn't play twice, right, Chris?
Yeah, he was on the bench both times. Hennessy started for Wales. He started against Belgium, and I think they played Poland as well.
Gotcha.
Guys, I appreciate you guys doing this, by the way, to fill me in, because I just, like I said before,
dude,
have no idea what went on at all
Yeah,
during the international break.
I
So you
literally
could tell
took-
me Pat Sadaka just went and scored 25 goals in a game, and I would have no idea.
I did a quick little 30 minutes during my NFL Sunday to get this all lined up. I'm with you, man. Like we said, Danny Ward, Amarty featured for his squad, which is great. I love he's a hero for them. Every time he gets on the pitch for that team, he does an amazing job. And they have some super sick kits this year. Johnny Evans, of course, for Northern Ireland, Pappy Mendy. Luke Thomas got some time with the England U21s, which Luke's getting in for them, but James Madison can't get in for Southgate, which looking at that England offense, the potency of that, I can understand totally why James Madison won't get a look. Holy cow, Jim and Chris, you guys got to be feeling great about the upcoming World Cup, huh? Jim, what are you thinking?
Saving it for the tournament. We're gonna.
Is Madison going to be your secret weapon? You just the day before the tournament
I
starts?
think boring everybody into submission is going to be our secret weapon, and
Interesting.
set pieces and 1-0s. But we'll see. I'm 100% focused on club football right now.
Good answer. Well, let's continue.
Jim's
that
like, look,
theme.
I'm under contract right now. I'm playing my contract out. Well, whatever happens. In the transfer
Keeping my
window, I let
money.
my agent handle that stuff. But I'm focused on the next game.
It's very admirable, of you,
exactly.
Jim. Well, let's stay focused then, boys. Move on from this international crap and head right into tomorrow. A wonderful Monday kickoff for us. Now, anytime, of course, for the time that anybody on the West Coast, and I don't like to sound like we're bitching on the West Coast, but the one time we get a noon kickoff, it's on a Monday where I have to ask off a month ago if I can get a half day. So for those of you that will be watching and got some time off, hopefully you'll be getting together for this one because it is a damn big match, guys. Like we said, noon and a little earlier for the boys, obviously on the East Coast and down there in Texas. But I know we're gonna have some San Diego Foxes showing up at the bars. Hopefully, you guys have been able to coordinate because this is a big one for us. And if there was such a thing as a 6-point match in October, Jason, this is it, right?
Yeah, man, it is. And there are different schools of thought here, especially with the manager situation. And for me, a game like this against Forest and with both clubs, wallowing in the relegation zone, I have to put all of that aside just for the sake of this game and this matchup and this derby. And we need to win. We need to win here. and the rest of it I can deal with. I can dig into and complain about. But this game, no matter what side of the fence you're on, there in terms of what's going on at the club, this we need to win, and we need everyone backing the guys. Maybe it delays the inevitable for another week or so, but we cannot give up points to Forest. Can't go out like that. I think it would just look awful too to lose to Forest and then have your manager sacked if that does happen after losing to them, right? So it's a Monday night. It's the only game in the country going on, So it's like you said, man. It's so early to say this, but hell, it's a must win. It's a 6-pointer.
It's like you said, the eyes of the country will be on this, and it's so dangerous for us on so many levels because obviously Brendan's on a lot of pressure. But you're looking at it. When we're talking about Forest, guys, we're talking about a team that brought in over 20 new players. So one of the things going into the season that we talked about Leicester, we said, guys, we have the same squad. The one thing we were hanging our hat on was, hey, at least the guys know each other. They've played together a long time. They know where they're going to make runs, things like that. That's the one thing that we hung our hat on. So we're playing a team now with 20 plus new players that from week to week, they've got a different guy to the left or right of them in the dressing room. So there are 0, 0, 0, capital 0 excuses on this one, Chris, heading in, because you're talking about a team. Yeah, they're 19th. They're coming off a loss to Fulham, wallowing in their own waters, Chris. So this is a must win, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I think to echo Jason's points, exactly. This is a 6-point odd. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. We need to win this game. This game has, if we can win this game, it has so many. There's so many things that would just kind of could almost be just clicked into gear. Like we've got a good schedule coming up in the next few games. We've got an opportunity. We close that gap to the next teams on 6 or 7 points. We're all of a sudden only a win away from those guys in that next little cluster. Yeah, we have to win this game. Well, I mean, to be honest, my mentality going into this is I don't think it can be any worse than what it was in February. That absolute mess in February. So I think we've seen the worst of this game this year. So I'm hoping that it'll be better. But yeah, Matt, you're 100% spot on. Like we've got to get 3 points tomorrow.
It's just terrifying. Like we can all see where this could go, and like whether you're worried about a Jesse Lingard turning into prime Messi, or you're worried about the fact that Dean Henderson at times has looked like a fucking concrete wall. There's all sorts of dangerous things here, Jim, that look like at any time some things could spell disaster, but we got to try to look for the positives, right?
We do. As Jason said, this is not a game to, no one wants to lose this just to get rid of Brendan. We want to win this. We want to have pride of the East Midlands. We want to kind of be able to kickstart our season, and I think this could be a big opportunity to do that. Rogers has talked a lot about, okay, we've had the harder start to the season, and now we've got some winnable games. So let's walk the walk. Having maybe Maddison and a few others not playing internationally, we joked earlier about him not getting in the team, but I'm going to quote what Liverpool fans say, and would rather have the club than the country. Definitely have him have a rest. He's been our sort of shining light. Him and Vardy hopefully got to train together. Hopefully we see Vard's back to sort of being hungry, breaking corner flags, running up to the crowd. This is tailor made for him to run up to the opposing fans, isn't it, after a goal? And I think there's not a Leicester fan that doesn't want us to win. You mentioned Jesse Lingard. We know how well we do against ex-players, especially ones that come on loan and then we think they're the worst player ever. And then all of a sudden, look at them. Not mentioning Harry Kane. Yeah, huge, massive match. And I'm hoping we're going to just be positive, but not overly positive Brendan ball, because we think back to the loss in the FA Cup last season, and the goals we conceded were us pushing up too far, or set pieces. So this is a team that's got some pace, it's got some trickery, and I don't want to see us kind of overcommitting and getting, stung as we all kind of pass it around on the 18-yard box and then 2 through balls kill us like against Spurs.
Well, for our analytics people out there, we're 4-2-1 in our last 7 league matches with them, so numbers are on our side. But as we know, when it's a W, throw all that shit out the window.
When was that? When was that last league match against them?
That would have been 2013, Jason. That would have been 2013.
Is that Kasper Schmeichel red card?
Believe it was. Yeah, that'd have been the final one that season.
When he was so raging, he kicked the ball out and got.
Yeah, I remember.
I think that honestly was. Jason, your thoughts on formation-wise, what we could come out? Do you think Brennan's going to get after it? Do you think we're going to see Harvey on the wing? Is he scared to throw out on the wing, leave Jamie isolated up top? What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I've heard a few things about what the lineup might be, but I think you got to play the local guys. I think Barnes needs to be in the lineup. I think Dewsbury Hall needs to be in the lineup. These are guys who grew up around this and know what it means, and they'll be up for it. So I'd like to see, and on top of that, this is a last chance for an appeal for Madison, Barnes, and Justin to try to get them get themselves into the World Cup squad, right? And so this is a key few weeks for these guys, and they have every chance to make Southgate look foolish for not picking them. So I hope they do take advantage of that. But I think we'll see something like 4 in the back. But the way Rodgers was talking, it does sound like he's going to stick with Ward. I don't know, how I feel, like if I agree with that or not. I think that Everson looks more like a more than capable keeper. I get that, maybe it's a tough situation to throw him into such a high stakes game, but at the same time, it's such an important game, and we're just giving up goals that we shouldn't give up. I feel like, I'll second guess the manager here and say that, I'd like to see Everson, and it's about time we rode with him a bit. But forward to the back, I'm saying, Justin, Justin, Fass, Evans, Justin, Fass, Evans, Castagna. And then the middle is going to be interesting because I don't know that Ndidi is fully fit. So what I would like to see, and this is what I've been hearing, it might happen, it would be a midfield 3 of Samare, KDH, and Madison. Do we have another name for the team sheet there?
Yeah, that one's Max. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Max got really intrigued with your Iverson comments. He wanted to know more.
Can Max play right wing? Because I haven't gotten to the front 3 yet. And then we're gonna have to play Madison in kind of that free role on the right wing. Vardy up top. I think for a game like this, Vardy needs to be the man there, and Barnes, and on the left side. Hopefully, we find some reason to get Kelechi on. Also, hopefully that reason is not because we're down 2 goals and we need him to save us. But I think he just makes too many goals happen for him to sit on the bench. But I'd like to see that kind of bread and butter 4-3-3, and hopefully the guys have been practicing in that setup this week, and our players will show up this game actually knowing where their teammates are on the pitch when they have the ball.
It's crazy. It doesn't get more to say. You can't say you have confidence in somebody more than playing them when the whole world wants them out of that position and your ass as a manager is on the line. So playing Danny Ward in this match is 100%, in my opinion, last chance saloon for both goalkeeper and manager, because I'll tell you what, a bad result here, I think we see the end of both of them.
Well, Danny Ward did so well in the last time we played Forest.
Well, why do you even have to bring that shit up, dude? They mentioned February earlier, and I think I
just broke Jason.
I've had enough.
Yeah,
it's enough already.
Jason, I agree with you with playing that 4-3-3, and because we know they play 3 at the back, and I think this is a chance to kind of match up and they haven't got the quickest back line. Steve Cook hopefully will be playing, and he seems to have a good record of getting sent off against us when he played against Bournemouth and so forth. But when we played for Bournemouth, but we've got to be, like we said, we've got to have a solid spine. The biggest worry, I think, is our fullbacks and them pushing on and then leaving a huge gap. Watching Liverpool yesterday, Trent Alexander getting caught out and not being the greatest advert for inverted fullbacks. I don't know if anyone watched the Tifo breakdowns, but he's getting targeted. I think that we're getting targeted the same with our fullbacks pressing on. And we know Tielemans is not the greatest tracker back. Is that a phrase? Into filling in the right back slot, which he should do as the right hand side centre mid. I don't think that KDH is either that great at covering. He seems to be more forward-minded recently in the season than he was. I think he was a lot more box-to-box and physical last season. And maybe he's trying to, after the first game, he scored that banger. Maybe he's fancying himself as a number 10, which he's played a few times. But it should be super interesting.
We'll know a lot based off that team sheet right away, Chris. I mean, the way that I think everything is going to tell us about the formation. I love you, Jason, your point about bringing in the local guys. And I feel like I think Jamie, obviously you got to throw in there because, the people that have been there around long enough to know what this means to this club. Yep. Chris, go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
So I was going to say, and KDH has made comments this week saying, talking about that very point and, talking about growing up around that and knowing how much this means. And so I think, he's trying to make the point to everyone that he's ready for this and he wants to be out there.
Chris, as if you're Brendan, make your point, make your play to the locker room of why, at this point in the season, trying to get a team that is down in the dumps like this, they can't get a result. And, speaking to a friend of mine that recently took a trip with his national team, coming in from a national team and then coming back into your club side can be a very different thing, especially if your club side is not performing well. What's he going to say to these guys to get them hyped up for this? Because we're talking toxic, winning a League Cup by penalties by a team in League One. You think it was toxic then? You lose to Forest in the Premier League, it could get disgusting at the KP real quick.
I think, to be honest, I don't know if he'll need to G up the players too much tomorrow. I think the whole atmosphere around the stadium and the players arriving, and that there'll be a sense around the KP of it being one of those nights where the lights are on, all eyes, like we said, are on this game. I think from that standpoint, he doesn't need to. If he needs to motivate the players in that situation for this game, then they shouldn't be playing for this club, full stop, in my opinion. But I think in terms of how he's probably set them up last week, I think, look, if you go into the analytics, yes, it doesn't look great, but there are things that we've got some strengths. Like, we are scoring. It's not a big thing. Like, teams down there often go down because they can't score goals, but we can do that. Like, yes, we're crap at the back at this moment in time, but I think he can pass out certain things that suggest that if we can get that rub of the green, we'll go tank someone. So I think that's probably where his head's going to be at. But I don't think he'll need to motivate the players too much tomorrow, Matt. I think just the fact of the matter is that the KP is going to be loud. It's going to be loud from very early, I think. And I think that hopefully they just have a microphone that feeds directly into the dressing room so the lads can hear that build up and get ready for the game.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We're coming. Maybe they'll show some highlights. We just passed the anniversary of Jermaine Beckford's hat trick against Forest, the only worthwhile thing he ever fucking did for us. But it shows some videos, shows some highlights.
No, we know how that goes. When against Southampton.
Well, don't show them before the match. Yeah. I'm saying show them in the locker room privately, Jim. Okay. We know that the nine.
Good. Okay. On that point you made though about yay, Kyle, by the way. But the comments that Tielemans made about, it's nice to go to Belgium and have a nice atmosphere. I'm not sure if he meant that as a sort of, it's good to have a mental break and I can recharge, or it's like, I don't like it here and I want to get away and it's that he's the one that I sort of worry about maybe not getting up for it, as you know, as we talked about in previous pods, and Jason, you've said it a couple of times, like he looks like he's sort of, I'm ready to go, and he's definitely now probably, you know, we don't want, he's the one that has to do the reverse of Barnes and Justin and Madison, and well, or he may do, because he'll be saying, I'm already in the World Cup squad, I just have to not get injured. So yeah, hopefully he can prove that he's a quality player as well, and so forth.
God damn, that's
sorry.
Just give me another reason to be less optimistic, Jim. Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm trying to play our expectations down so that when we win, we're pleasantly surprised. That's my
okay.
I guess if we're looking to grasp onto another kind of glimmer of hope here, is that Steve Cooper's under pressure as well. And he's got a team of a lot of new players that, you know, he doesn't have much of a history with. And so, you know, are these guys going to really go down fighting for him? I'm not that sure yet. I mean, he is, I think he is a very good manager, but so he knows he needs a result here as well. So he might be in a situation where he pushes a little too much, has to push a little too much for a result with a squad he doesn't have much history with. And maybe that plays into our hands as well. They've been sitting back. They've been playing a lot of this season sort of in their own half. And they're still giving up plenty of goals. If they get up higher in the pitch, that could, you know, give us more room and give players like Madison, Vardy, and Barnes a lot more room to get behind, or to, you know, to work their little, you know, interplay and individual magic.
It's a team of mercenaries. Like, it's essentially, we're playing a team of fucking pirates, and we cannot give, like, we've got to grab up the game immediately by the throat. And I'm serious.
Danny Ward plays like he's a pirate, and he's like got an eye patch, so because he's got no depth perception at the moment.
Well, okay. Well, my point is that we can't allow anything. If we can get into their heads early, get a couple goals early, not only shut their fans up, because we know, you can only imagine, you know, and to our family and friends in Leicester that are there, please be safe, because it's gonna be quite the night, the pregame, if I had to imagine, and postgame. But we've got to keep them quiet. And if we can get in there early and just get them down, and, you know, when you have a team of guys that have played with each other 2 weeks, 3 fucking weeks, like they're going to look at each other, they'll start turning on each other. We've got to use that cohesion that we have built up.
You know, this is a good time to kind of remind these guys of who they are. And I'm saying that both the Forest players and our own players. You know, we won that FA Cup not too long ago. We still have guys on this team that are Premier League winners. Forest kind of scraped through with the most corrupt refereeing performance I've probably seen in England for some time in that final at Wembley to get promoted. So I don't even think that club necessarily even deserves this spot right now in the league. And you know, and we're going to hear all sorts of stuff from them and their camp. You know, it's not a derby, but they spend more time telling us that it's not a derby than they do spend, you know, talking about their actual derby with Derby, right? So I think it's you know, we are supposed to be the class, right, of the East Midlands, and I think it's time to sort of just galvanize the players a little bit. Chris, you said that they shouldn't need motivating, and I agree, but they might need a little bit of a confidence boost and a reminder of kind of who they are and how good these players are. And so hopefully they're all getting some confidence boosts this week, you know, at Seagrave, and just to, you know, kind of remember, like, should we be behind these guys in the table? No. So here's our chance to do something about it in 90 minutes. Done and dusted. And then we go on to the next one.
100%.
Sure.
Forest aren't good. Forest are not a good side. I think it's been, they've, to your guys' points, I've not been impressed in anything I've seen from them. I think you're right; they sit back a lot, but at the same time, if you're going to sit back like that, you've got to be able to defend, and they can't. I think the Newcastle game showed that. I think the Fulham game showed that. So we need to take it, Matt. So the other thing, I don't know. I think if you look at Vegas is on our side on this one as well. I think it's we're minus 333, I think it is, or something to win tomorrow. Forest are plus 150 for those in America. For those in England, that's about, I think, Forest are about 2-1, and we're 1-3 against. So there's an expectation around that as well that we'll win tomorrow. So Matt, I think it's going to be a good day, mate. I really do. I think it's going to be a good day for you. I promise. I really do.
No, there's one thing that a Leicester fan probably should never do is to use the bookmakers' odds to justify a prediction. We know all too well about blowing up the bookies.
Yeah, if there's any team that does, that's us. Yeah, it's also my mom's birthday, so let's get one from Minnie, guys. Let's get one from Minnie, boys. Let's do it.
Matt,
guys,
it's my mom's birthday too.
The 3rd?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Look at that. It's a small world.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really cool. So yeah, even more of a reason to get a damn win for the mothers of the US Foxes podcast. Chris, Jim, this one's going to be for you guys real quick. Can you just we'll start with you, Jim. What this matchup meant to you growing up as a kid when you were in school? And here in the States there are rivalries, but I think there's nothing quite like rivalries that have been 100+ years like there are in England. So just what this meant to you growing up. I know you were kind of an outsider as a Leicester fan growing up anyway, so let's just, if you guys can give us a quick summary of what this matchup means to you guys. I think it'd be pretty unique for our American listeners.
Having to hear about winning the league, then winning the European Cup constantly comes to mind. Coming in and being sort of the third team in the East Midlands during the growing up period, even behind Derby and Forest. So getting into the sort of O'Neill period and then what we've had in the last sort of 10, 12 years really has been fantastic. And I want to continue this because I don't want to go back to kind of walking around in a Leicester shirt and getting heckled about, supporting a crap East Midlands club. That's the sort of thing that we get to say to others now.
Absolutely. Chris, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a game that brings back many memories. It's kind of been weird for me. When I was growing up, there's been quite a few patches where we've not played Forest for a few years. I think it was like there was 99 to 03, and then we had that little run, and then we got promoted. And so the rivalries with Forest have been very sporadic in the times that I've been a fan as a Leicester fan. But that to me just makes it even more just appetizing when we get them. And yeah, it's one of those games where I am from in North Leicester, we're closer to Nottingham. So there are occasionally you'll have that rivalry. It wasn't in as much on the schoolyard. We didn't necessarily have 50% or 50%. But to Jim's point, you walk around the East Midlands and you walk with pride with your shirt on. I remember the old TV show back in the day on a Monday night, they used to show the highlights, and it was not Forest, Derby, and Leicester, and we were always third. And we had 25 seconds at the end where we might have seen one goal. If we won 4-0, we would have seen David Speedy score, and that would have been it. Like, so it means a lot because it just you go to work that next day with your head held high, and that recognition of being the best team in the East Midlands is something that Leicester fans, I think, are proud of at the moment, and something that we need to continue to do. If we have all of these ambitious plans that the club has on the commercial front, then being the best in the East Midlands is a minimum standard that we need to continue with.
You said David Speedy's name. Did you catch his tweet this week?
Yeah,
today
that was amazing.
Absolutely incredible picture of Sir Alex at the game today. And David Speedy said, "Tell I felt Sir Alex is looking quite pissed off at the result from today." David Speedy said, "It's how I felt when he left me out of the '86 World Cup squad. Long may it continue." So, legendary tweet right there from
David Speedy, one of the most hated people ever for Leicester, and then we
Yeah.
liked him when he came and played for us.
Bring him in. We've had a few of those in our day. Look, we got no problem once they're wearing the blue. It turns real quick. Yeah, I just
Maybe
as
not Dennis
American-
Wise though.
No,
No.
not at all. But as American fans, Jason, what do you guys got? Do you have Forest? Do you have Forest fans in New York? Like, it's such.
Yeah.
They've been shit for so long that there is no there's no Forest fans in San Diego. They don't come to the bars. They don't exist. So like for American fans, especially some of you that have joined on post 2015, this is nothing. Like they don't even exist to you. And obviously we're all pretty fucking envious of you.
Yeah, so there is a Forest group in New York. They watch at a different bar. I've met some of those guys. They're all right. Some better than others, but so they have a group. They watch, and then at Football Factory you'll just have fans from all over will show up. So I can imagine that there will be a couple of Forest fans that'll show up there. But I think as American fans, we have to now we have this freaking Barstool guy over who's become a Forest fan and constantly tweeting, and now you got this that Barstool crowd that's kind of following that. And I think that's even more of a reason for us to go out and get that
To hate
win,
them.
just to come on. Now you've got Forest fans just simping for these dumbasses from Barstool. So it's come on, let's take care of business on Monday, please, because we all know how unbearable that kind of element is.
I don't think it's like Leeds fans, is it, Jason? Where Leeds fans, even though they weren't in the Premier League for a long time, they were still around and they had a pretty loyal following. But Forest fans just sort of seem to disappear into the ether, and then I think they're kind of the epitome of more glory, fair weather fans than other teams. I don't know how many Forest fans were watching, League One like we were in 2008 on grainy feeds or whatever, on the one Setanta Sports game we got every so often or whatever. But maybe they were, but I hate Forest fans, so I don't care. And this is a Leicester podcast. And I think Derby fans were more my era, probably Chris, you as well. And remembering Soccer Sunday, ITV, always the Derby game was the big one, because we're always sort of in the Championship and Forest was sort of in the Premier League or the top division for a while, and we weren't. So I kind of remember that, and sort of Derby fans are more sort of in the sort of my sphere of awareness.
We used to get the feed. Time Warner Cable would get the ITV feed on if you got the sports package channel, and they would have that highlight show, but half the time it got started late because there was probably just some guy in California pressing a button or forgetting to, and it always got cut off. If they didn't get it going at the right time, it would get cut off by an Amy Grant infomercial singing "My God is an awesome God," and it would just go right into it. And I used to get so pissed off, dude. So thank you for that little gem of memory popping back into my head.
Does that mean that American fans know who Elton Wellesby is?
Elton Wellesby? No, I don't think so.
He was.
I'm not going to speak for all the American fans, but I will and say no.
Tweet the US Foxes podcast if you know who Elton Wellesby is.
We'll give him, Jim will do a giveaway. He'll give you one of those guitars on the back wall right now. Guys, anything else you want to cover? Obviously, guys, huge match. I think we've hopefully covered that and got that through your brains. And like we said, if you could find a way to sneak into the lunchroom or do whatever you can to watch it, we're going to need all the support we can get. And any final wrap-ups, Jason, before we talk about other things?
Yeah, just if you're in New York, come down to Football Factory, West 33rd Street between 5th and 6th, right by the Empire State Building. That's where we will be. New York Foxes will be watching tomorrow, so come join us.
Same goes San Diego Foxes
3
at
3 p.m.
noon.
kickoff. Sorry, 3 p.m. kickoff in New York.
3 p.m. in New York. It'll be noon for the Foxes. I think I said earlier it was earlier for you guys. It's been a long weekend, but we'll be at noon at the trusty Bluefoot. So if you can get down there, 30th and Yupa's in North Park, we'd love to have you. Chris, are you going to be joining us tomorrow? I still haven't got your RSVP. Did you get that off work?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping
Let's
so, Matt.
go.
Yeah, I am hoping
Let's
so.
go. Cool, man. Well, yeah, guys, obviously big stuff, and we'll hope for the best. Let's talk real quick about the other big happening in the US Foxes world, guys. Once again, in 2 weeks, we're like so close. It's coming up. We will all be convening for the US Foxes family reunion in Philadelphia, Friday, October 14th, 7 to 9 p.m. at Con Murphy's Irish Pub. See you right there. That code is broken. Apparently, you had to pay if you wanted it to work for more than a month or something. So the link is on all of our socials. So if you get onto our Twitter, Instagram, all that, you can click the link to sign up. We've got around 30 people already, guys. It's going to be incredible. We're going to have giveaways. There's going to be a buffet, and any money that's left over from that $20 donation will be going to the Vichai Foundation. So it's literally going to be amazing, guys, and we're getting more and more of you signing up. We've got some more guys sign up this week. So honestly, if you can make it, we would absolutely love to have you. Jason, your thoughts as we're getting down to the wire here now.
Yeah, man. Like for anyone who hasn't gone to one of these events before, we do it a little differently, and I think we do it a little bit bigger and louder than what we see from a lot of the other clubs. Everyone knows that Leicester's in town, and we have a great group of people that are coming down to meet up from all over. Some even coming in from the UK, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great group of people, really good, diverse group of fans too, but a very passionate group, and a lot of the little networks that have formed and friendships all kind of start from these events and these meetups that happen in different parts of the country. You know, a lot of us were out in California in 2016, which is where that was the kind of the beginnings, right, of this US Foxes community and US Foxes podcast. So if you can get to Philly, I highly recommend it. It's going to be a blast. It'll be a really good time, and not everyone lives in a place in the country where there is a supporters club. Now, thankfully, there is one in Philly. We love Philly Foxes. We've got a good history with the guys that started that group, and I'm really excited to go down there and meet them in their hometown. So especially if you come live in a place where you don't have other fans to go out and watch with, come do it, because it's going to be the most fun you're going to have all year watching a game.
Yeah, and to your point, you might meet somebody that's 30 minutes away, and you guys could find a bar 15 minutes between the two of you, and then suddenly there's two of you watching a match, and then bring your friend. Hey, this is how this stuff starts, guys. So yeah, such a good point, Jason. We hear it all the time on Twitter. Hey, I live in the middle of nowhere. Do you know of any groups, within an hour drive of me or whatever? This is your chance, guys, to come out and feel that community. You don't have to be the only guy sitting at the bar in Nebraska or wherever you live. You come out and join it. You'll see it right away. The difference is so stark between us and the other groups. You will know every single member that is there. As far as Leicester, you will know every single Leicester fan's name by the end of the weekend, and you will be exchanging information and hoping to get together as soon as possible again, because it is such a unique and awesome community, Chris, and really can't wait to get out there with you, man.
Matt, I'm so excited. Cannot wait to see the boys. I cannot wait to go to Philadelphia. This will be my first time visiting the city of brotherly
Awesome.
love. So I am very, very excited to see what the city has to offer. It looks like, just from Google Maps anyway, the location for the event seems pretty fantastic. Right downtown. Yeah. Looks like there's going to be looks a perfect setup, I think, to have a really enjoyable weekend. And I think, like we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, the games are good. That Saturday, it's not the big six there. It's going to be the smaller teams. So a lot of chance to meet some other people that are passionate about their clubs as well. And kind of, I'm sure, have some great banter with everyone that's going to be there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. And even some of the Palace folks that I know down in Philly, we're playing Palace. Some of those guys, I know from going to games in New York and meeting up with that group too. So should be a really good crew for that early morning kickoff. And I'm Chris said this, and I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but like, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys again too. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's crazy. It always feels like too long. That Palace matchup is so unique for us because I don't, that's a tough squad, guys, especially where we are right now, where they are as a club. So I don't have to tell you what a win would mean to all of us, especially getting to celebrate it together. We will be, I can't even, my body, what it will go through, win or loss, but win especially, we might drink Philadelphia dry. So if you guys can get out there, please do it. Get a hold of us. If you need, if you're having trouble finding transportation, maybe you guys can carpool together. Reach out to us. We will be happily putting you a retweet, find you someone to go with. Just if you can do it, guys, do it. I promise it'll be worth it, and it will be a great time. So yeah, can't say it enough. Get there, and all the links are on all of our socials if you want to jump on there. With that, guys, man, it seems like I just want to keep talking, but it's just nervous talking at this point because tomorrow is so damn huge. My mind has just been center point all week, and I couldn't even focus on NFL today, anything, because I was just so laser focused on tomorrow and how big it is.
Glad you're not mentioning NFL today, although we're crappy, so you beat us.
Just
Colts suck too, bro. So
I'm a Colts fan.
Matt, you did just remind me though. I did have someone ask about Toronto Foxes, and if there are any Toronto Foxes out there. I know of a couple of people, but anyone else that's out there, apparently Jim's allergic to Canada.
Yeah,
that's
man,
why he
what
moved
the
as
hell?
far away as he could down in Houston and Texas.
Maybe think about the Queen, and I got all upset.
So, but any. We'll put out a call for any Toronto Foxes out there. Make yourselves known. Reach out to us. Let's see if we can get some folks together up there to watch some games.
That would be awesome. Yeah, it'd be cool if you guys could jump down there. That would be amazing. I haven't met any of those guys. I know we have a good following up there. You see the Canadian Foxes and stuff tweeting and stuff. So that'd be amazing to have you guys join us as well. U.S. Foxes love. I mean, we are. Shit, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But U.S. Foxes love Canada Foxes too. We're not trying to exclude anyone. So please join us. On that note, guys, if anything, as anybody else, I think we've covered just about everything today. So for Chris, Jason, Jim, I am Matt, and thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully with some good news on the U.S. Foxes podcast. Cheers. Talk to you soon.